Anthony. Anthony.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Apologize. I'm not in the best positions to show my camera, but how are you guys?
All right, great. Well, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it. So let's
Good.
let's get straight to the point.
Thanks.
Yep. Let me tell a couple of words who we are and why we asked for your time today. And all right, let's get started. So my name is Alex, my partner, my co-founder, Dmitry. So both of us are founders of a startup called Flash. So we are targeting US market in order to create some solution connected with the financials, payments, some APR management, and basically we are on super early stage and right now on so-called discovery stage. So we are talking to professionals and experts in the market in different fields of the market, payments, installments, financial stuff, some operations connected to finance in order to identify better and understand the market better and identify the problem space and what kind of problem spaces and frictions might be there in the market in order to target those problems. Well, before we had similar startup as we do now, mostly focused on Europe. And Dmitry also was a founder of a company for installment and payments in Africa, which he successfully sold. And right now, yeah, we are entering US market. Well, we talked to like 60, 70 people in the industry. That's basically owners, founders, CFOs, and accountants, outsourced companies in accounting. And we today wanted to ask a few questions, ask you some questions regarding financial operations, especially connected with AP, AR, and cash flow management. So we learned your profile. It's like you have great and big experience, which means you have deep expertise in the field. That's why, yeah, we are very happy that we have you today here. So let me go to the questions then. All right.
Sure.
Well, again, we learned the profile, but still to understand your responsibility area better, could you please tell a few words what you do now, what you're responsible for, and what's your daily, routine is? So yeah.
Okay. So I'm a finance controller for a nonprofit, cemetery associations. To explain a little bit about what they do, they have different aspect of things. So they have nonprofit, they have for-profit entities in there, and we manage trust fund as well. So that's kind of the major things that we have. And within there, we also have the different aspect of accounting. We have the construction in progress. We have retail and distribution as well. So from that aspect, that's kind of what I manage. From a day-to-day aspect, I mainly manage my team rather than actual doing most of the work. What we do on a day-to-day basis, we have the AR, the AP portion of things that you guys are interested in. We also had our own operating system that integrated with Stripe to get the payment platform. We also connect them on Square, well, actually Clover instead of Square, Clover. So that's kind of what we do as a payment platform.
I see. Well, let maybe divide our conversation today and my questions to two main parts. The first one would be like payments and all concerning payments, collections of payments,
Mhm,
maybe
mhm,
some even installments if there is a
mhm.
space there. And second, mostly on some operations around those payments, maybe mostly reconciliation, accounting stuff, this kind of part, how they handled,
Mhm.
but that's the last part. Well,
Yeah.
regarding payments, well, in your field, where is the, most friction could be if we talk about payment methods, late payment collections, or maybe like financing installments, buy now, pay later, or some kind of such stuff, which involves financial institutions. So since have not like don't know the specifics of your um, what you do in the company, that's why it's kind of tricky. So
Right.
let's maybe start with payments.
Yeah.
Payments.
Yeah.
Who um well, in this case, are you mostly like the organization, or can I call it company? It's not
Go
actually
for it.
company. Organization which pays or which receives payment,
We do
or
both.
it's both. Both.
Yeah, we do both. Yeah.
All right. And well, let's talk about like payments when you receive payments. And
Mhm.
either there any terms issue when
Mhm.
provide services and you have payment terms.
Yeah. So we do have payment terms. We have in different aspect of the business, we provide different terms. So one aspect of it is between 1 to 2 years, and you have to give us a 20% down payment. And the other aspect of it is you can go all the way to 7 or 10 years. And we do depending on the down payment and also the terms of your the terms itself, the duration of the terms, the interest rate will be different.
Is it customized or it's kind of standard types of
It's
terms?
customized, yeah, for what we do because we feel like we should not give if someone give me 30% and want to do 3 years, I shouldn't give the same percentage to another person trying to do 5% with 10 years, right?
I see. And what um, duration depends on? I mean, is it like negotiable, or
Mhm.
again, it depends on some
Yeah,
conditions?
it's
So
yeah, it's negotiable. So it's anywhere from 1 year to 10 years. So it's all negotiable. Most of a client will be somewhere between 2 to 5 years. So in an
I see.
extreme case, we'll do 10.
Well, it's quite a lot. I mean,
Mhm.
we see quite a few so-called industries. I mean, uh, types of services that require such long terms. And I mean, in agtech, agriculture, there is
Mhm.
like super long term, but here it's like super long, like 5-10 years. Haven't heard
Yeah.
about such kind of. What the reason behind it is like, mm, the value of payment, which drives such terms. So what the
Oh,
specifics in the market that drives
so
such terms?
part of the reason is because our industry is very unique. And most of the time, when you are financing with us, you are most likely not going to use the product until a long time later. So time is on their side. We just give the option for people to do that. But I do understand what you mean. That's why another aspect of the business is only 2 years.
I see. Well, that might be like not really correct questions, but still,
Mhm.
I don't think I understand it like 100% correctly.
Yeah,
What specifically, I
yeah.
mean, what the services you provides just, could you please give some specific details, maybe?
So the organization is actually in death care. So on the higher end of the terms, it's on the cemetery portion of it. So if someone come to us and said, hey, I would like to buy a piece of land for my burials in the future, you're not going to die tomorrow. You're not going to most likely die in the next 5-10 years. So taking that into consideration, I'm like, okay, so if you want to do a 5-year term, no problem, because you most likely be paid in full by the time we actually give you the service. Now, on the other hand, people don't think about giving themselves a funeral until they're up in age or something is wrong with their health. So that is an aspect of the portion that we say, well, you can finance for 2 years. Obviously, during the terms, if you were to have to use a service, you have to pay it in full at the time before we rent the service.
I see. And since you provide such, terms and down payment like 20%, and you take some, interest to for those, late payments, not late payments, but like partial payments. Yeah, let's say. Is this financial service managed by the company itself, so it some kind of outsourced, or
It's
how's actually managed?
It's within the company. We manage that within the company.
And you mentioned a platform. Is that a part of this service? Something that?
Yes, it is.
All right. Is that something which you created inside the company, or it's kind of product use, which is just specifically designed for this purpose and anyone can use it?
That platform that we created, it's I wouldn't say anyone can use it. You probably will only use it if you're within the industry because it's very industry specific.
Yep.
But definitely certain aspect of it, the collection portions of that software, yes, anyone can use it.
I see. And when, let's say, there is some, request to buy some land or like services with the long terms, do you use like your company's liquidity or any financial institutions may be involved here to actually finance, because you have to spend to invest to build something, but you have only like 20% down payment, so I assume that it's not enough to create something. So
so generally speaking, we'll have to have the right to the land before we can even sell it. But we have two means of financing it. One way is you give me 20%, and let's say the sales price is $10,000, so you give me $2,000. What I'm gonna do is I use that $2,000, at least a portion of it, say 10% of it, or well, actually even 50%, 50% of it, so $1,000. I'm putting into a sinking fund or a saving itself, and I'm only managing my operating or my operation with the other 10. So that's try to be what we do. So that's one way. But obviously, yes, you are absolutely correct. As things are getting more expensive, land per square footage cost is higher, we do use another financial institution like a bank and say, how much can we borrow?
I see. Let's maybe put this topic to the side and switch to another one. Maybe I'll come back to financing questions a bit later. But now I just wanted to ask a few questions about payment methods. What I mean by that is, there any like negotiation about you want to receive one way and people want to buy to pay another way, and there is some friction and condition here? Or it's not a question on the table.
Yeah. Generally speaking, that's not a question on the table. We accept basically all forms of payment. The only payment that we currently do not do, it's well, I should say, it's a couple, but we don't take any cryptocurrencies. So that's one.
Mm.
Then the other thing that we have not leveraged yet is Apple Pay or Google Pay.
And
So,
credit card, I mean, it's like totally okay for you,
yep,
right?
credit card's totally okay. Credit card, check, cash,
Mm-hmm.
wire transfer, anything you can think of outside of the one I mentioned. We also send people to a secure link if they can attach a bank account to it or a credit card account, whatever that is, they can do that as well.
Mm-hmm. And those credit card commissions are totally okay. I mean, it's like 2, 3, 5%,
Yeah.
right? I mean, all right. So yeah, I see that the payment is like absolutely not something that could lead to some friction. So let me switch to collection part. So you provide terms and either any like let's call it friction with the collecting those pay. I mean,
Yep.
collection of payments that you actually want to collect in time. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially we gave such a long terms on the cemetery portion of business. There is going to be frictions because economic may change for a specific person.
Mm-hmm.
You might have a lot of money at one point, and then they might have not so much as things happen. Um, I'll give you an example. In the 2008 time, there was a lot of people decided that, well, can we just cancel our payment because we cannot afford it anymore during the recessions? What we did is we actually do a refinancing program whenever we can, and the refinancing it's 1%, 0.1% for every month that you're gonna extend. So that's one program that we try to keep. At least that way, we still keep the cash going versus someone just say, I'm gonna stop paying, go ahead and cancel me, and finding another person because the other person might be in the same boat anyways. So that's one thing we're doing. A second thing that we actually allow for a duration about 6 months that we would negotiate and say, hey, listen, I understand that it's difficult right now. We'll give you 6 months. How much can you afford every month for the next 6 months? They said, well, I can only afford $100. Okay, no problem. We'll take $100 for 6 months, and then in the fifth month, we'll get together and let's chat. What can we do? Has the condition changed? Do we need to do a refinancing, or do you still have to cancel? What is the conditions? What do we need to do for you? So generally speaking, that's kind of what we do. But obviously, some people will come back and be like, nope, I do not have any more money. Go ahead and cancel me. I'm not gonna pay. I actually have other people because we acquired another cemetery about 3, 4 years ago. Actually, 4 years ago, as of today, 4 years ago, and the clientele it's completely different. The terms that the historical company has agreed to, it become a disservice for us. We send a statement to a client and say, hey, you're severely past due. You're supposed to pay it in full like 5 years ago. The family comes back and say, nope, I'm not going to pay you at all because my insurance is going to cover for everything when I pass. So why would I pay you right now? And because the terms has been established with the old company for so long, we could cancel, but it doesn't do anything. So they can even come back from a legal aspect and say, well, the historical term has been accepted for this. It's mutually agreed between the family and the old company. And the fact that we have not done anything during the pandemic or for that many years because we acquired them during the pandemic, it's from a legal aspect, it becomes, well, you also mutually agree that that's okay. So now we kind of in a bind that there's nothing we can do. We cannot cancel them. We can only take whatever money they feel like paying us.
Yeah,
So
it's
also the
tricky.
friction that we get. Yeah.
I see. And in this case, in the case of default, do you like, sue some legal procedure, initiate some legal procedure,
Yeah.
or all right? Just
So mhm. Go ahead.
What's your idea regarding, default rate in this case, out of like thousand clients who come to you, how many could default at the end?
So majority of the people, at least in our industry, they try not to default because we do increase prices every year, and they know that at one point they would need it anyways, so they try not to default. But there is roughly 5 to 7% that do default from the AR portion every year.
Would be correct to compare this industry with the, like with house construction. Let's say you have something expensive to build, which lasts for some certain period of time, and you can pay
Yeah,
it
so
once.
many people do look at that as similar to a housing industry or real estate type thing.
I see. And either, I mean, it's a super specific type of business where it's kind of tricky to find right questions. Well, just to understand the workflow within a month, is it like few clients, like some 10, 15 clients, maybe hundreds? So how many so-called like clients, can say transactions you have? So just to understand, is like fast, slow, is it like handled manually, or there is like some people on the process?
Sorry?
Yeah, it's some external voice, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So let me actually pull up some stats so we can talk about it. But definitely not 10 to 15 per per week or even per day. Well, maybe per day. So give me 1 second. So let me pull up some stat. So from one aspect of our business, on the any portion of the cemetery, as of this fiscal year, so about 7 months. Yeah, 7 months. So each month we do about 43 contracts for the annuities.
And
that's
what
from the cemetery side. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah. So
just want to understand the transaction volume, just average, to understand the how big it is.
So from a perspective wise, we do about 666 transactions per month. We do about 600 to 700 per month.
And the transaction volume, or average transaction value, I mean, the amount, how much it could be? in average? I mean,
Um,
it's if it's sensitive, please just skip it. I mean,
no, it's okay. So every month we do about 7 million altogether.
so it's quite high volume transactions.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, the part when you provide services,
Mhm.
that one is clear and seems that it's like totally manageable
Mhm.
by the team, and you're doing like really great. And from the other side, it's like super specific, and seems that there is just no room for some services systems. At least I don't see it yet. So let's maybe talk about the other part when
Mhm.
you are a customer, you
Mhm.
buy some, you know, building materials, tools,
Right, right.
appliances,
Mhm.
services, anything. So, what kind of services, suppliers, manufacturers are working for you who you buy from?
Um,
Maybe types of businesses, maybe a few examples.
it's honestly speaking, it's all sort, but the one that more related, I mean, that's gonna be always one that related to all offices, right? So utility, that type thing. So we're gonna take that away. The other one that we do a lot, it's more of like you mentioned, it's home improvement types. So we buy like lumbers, different materials, that type of things. So you can think of that aspect. It's like home improvement, anything you can get from um, a hardware stores will do. Then the other one we do a lot, it's like the housing, so actual construction with concrete, um, even builder itself. We also get rental equipment like crane, forklifts. So from that aspect of things. The other aspect is we have a lot of vehicles from the fleet, so that will be coming from we actually lease the vehicle, so they'll be coming from a lot of the automobiles companies. What
I see.
else? That's
Mm,
more, yeah. So those are the pretty much like anything related to office maintenance, that kind of stuff. But those are majority of what we purchase and what we dealt with partners.
I see. And do we have some, you know, well, you mentioned maintenance department, so either any like procurement department or a specific role in the company who is actually in charge
Yes.
of buying stuff.
So for the office management and whatnot, that would be the purchasing department.
Mhm.
So more of the office utility type thing. So any of the office supplies will be the purchasing. Any of the home improvement constructions, it will be under the superintendent, which is basically the operating well, the person in charge of the whole operations, the actual operation of the cemetery. And
I
he
see.
also manage a fleet as well.
Well, um, your department and maybe even
Mhm.
you specifically, are you involved in, purchasing approval or some kind of approval process when you have to, the order's value is like quite big, means that you
Mhm.
probably have to spend a lot for those um, housing, um, appliances, equipment, vehicles. So it's like big purchases. Maybe
Mhm.
it's even bought in bulk and wholesale. So either any like internal approval procedure, or it's superintendent or some
Mhm.
purchasing person just in charge of it and just makes a decision.
So we actually involved with the process. We ultimately will follow their recommendation for the most part, but for any of their instruction itself, we require bits, 3 bits. What are they doing? Who are they? What was the price? And that's kind of one. From the purchasing standpoint, the purchasing person will work with vendors or whatnot, and occasionally they will say, well, can we switch from one vendor to another? The question becomes, why is that? Are they better quality, lower price? So again, once again, we'll have comparison and look at it and say, okay, that makes sense. Go for it, or no, let's not switch. Doesn't seems to be good. So that's kind of
I see. Well, if we talk about this kind of high value suppliers, I mean, more like home improvement type, vehicle type of suppliers with a quite high volume of value of transaction. How many of them? I mean, just average, is it like couple of dozens or a dozen or it's hundreds, just to understand the volume?
in terms of
Just suppliers, number of suppliers. Maybe it's just one or two major supplier who covers all the categories, or it might be like a couple of dozens different suppliers with the I count only suppliers of high value
Mhm.
products.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
So
your yeah.
yeah, we don't usually depend on situations. We generally speaking, from supplier standpoint, we a lot of time we pair from like 12 to like 5 and then to 3.
I see. Well, in this situation when you are the site which actually buys stuff and pays for it,
Mhm.
do you like, is it also like term based? Like, do you have
Mhm.
in the standard terms you can mention?
The term itself, it depends. So a lot of the time, for constructions and whatnot, the terms is very, very specific.
Mhm.
So generally speaking, it will be progress payment.
Sorry, to be honest, I don't really know what is it. Could you
That's
please
fine. Sorry.
specify?
Yeah, no worries. So for progress payment, a lot of time it's they will have a schedule of work, and
Mhm.
let's say they say the duration of the project is going to be 30 days, and they bill us weekly. So every week, they were gonna fit out. I'm completed 20%. So the payment would be 20% of the total agreed amount. And usually based on that, the terms will somewhere between 5 to 10 days or due upon receive. So depending on that situations, there is that portions. Now, at times, most of our suppliers would actually give us a terms for 30 days or 45 days.
Um, well, those terms, 30 or 45, is it like comfortable for you, or it might, create some cash flow issues in your business? Or it's totally
Um,
okay? Well, I
sorry,
mean,
go
either
ahead.
any like idea that the longer the better, if it would be not like 30 but
Mhm.
100 term, 100 days, would be like much better, or 30, 45, it's like totally okay for your cash flow.
Yeah, that's
And
totally okay for cash flow.
I see. And from the supplier perspective, maybe either any like kind of discount offer if you pay upfront, such kind of stuff, or it's just also ongoing, just process when they deliver, you pay like in 30 days, and that's how it works.
So some vendors, we do negotiate with them with special terms. So we pay them within 30 days. We get, depending on situations, we get 13% off discount, or in an extreme case that we are one of the largest customers of theirs, we negotiate about 30 to 40% of discount that we pay within 30 days.
And in your case, well, since you work like quite a lot in this industry, in this company, do you remember cases when you have to go to late payments, so don't meet terms and have to late pay?
No, we
Let's say,
generally don't have that problem.
let's see. So it's basically a cash flow issue. I mean, if you don't have one, you don't have to. You just don't late pay, right? If you have no cash flow issue.
No, we don't.
And regarding payments, outgoing payments, in terms of transaction volume, how many of payments you should handle as APs, account payables? So is it like a lot of transactions or quite few?
Yeah, accounts payable transaction is quite large comparatively to others.
And let's say each transaction has to be paid on time, and each transaction might have some terms, some of them like 30 days, some of them like 45, maybe some extended terms or customized conditions. So how it's actually managed not to, not to forget to pay on time, not to late pay. So how it's like managed in terms of day-to-day routine, so that you don't forget to pay for any bill you have to.
So we do have a schedule for any of the recurring ones. So any of the recurring one, we do have a schedule, and we have reminders for ourselves. We basically have a checklist to make sure that every month this is something that's being paid, or every quarter per se.
And do you remember cases, or maybe like, yeah, do you maybe remember some cases when something in this process didn't really work, and some payments were forgot to be paid, or it just works absolutely okay and no problem here?
We usually found that it's working quite well. The only time that it did not work, it's when someone kind of stuff. And generally speaking, we have backups. So only if the unfortunate things happen, that kind of happened recently, their primary AP person had lost a loved one, so they took basically the whole week off.
Guys, sorry, our conversation will end now. Let's jump to another meeting room. I will